Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Alexis Paris here. It's your first time watching any of my videos. I'm a reservist in the Air Force and specifically a flight medic. Sharing my experience. In my last video, I talked about my phase 2 part of my training, which is like the clinical side, working in the hospital. What was that like at Wright-Patterson? Shared a little bit about that. So if you want to know about that, go check out that video. And in this one, I want to talk about my experience attending my UTA as an airman. So if you want to follow my journey, if you have questions about the reserve side of the Air Force, definitely subscribe, check in, because I'll be updating you. So like I said, first UTA, and it's not like I haven't been to a UTA before, because before you ship out to basic, you're in depth flight. So you go to base once a month to kind of learn, ask questions, kind of get acclimated, be prepped before you go to basic. At least that's what we do as reservists. And so we go back to that schedule of once a month because that's our obligation as a reservist. And it's a lot different though, because we're part of the Air Force. We're not trainees, we're airmen, all right? So I wanted to share my experience, and I have some notes here so that I don't miss anything for you guys. So first, I want to cover what to bring, because it's your first UTA. You don't know if you need all of your documents. You don't know what's gonna happen. You don't really know what to expect. You know that you're going to your newcomers briefing, kind of being welcomed into your unit as an airman, but what do you need? And so a huge thing that I found so helpful to bring with me was this lovely, upside down this way, folder. You should definitely have one of these, because in here I have all of my military documents, the things that you get from your training at tech school, or just like your contract. I have everything related to my military, anything in here, just in case they need to see something physically. You don't want to be caught slipping if they misplaced the document and you no longer have it. So definitely bring something like this that has your tech school transcripts, your certificates from BMT, and they'll ask for all of those things, especially when you're in process, when you come back from tech school, but bring it along again with you when you go to your newcomers first UTA weekend as an airman. So this is very useful, especially too, if you need to update your dependency status or your relationship status. For me, I don't know if you guys noticed, but your girl is married. Okay, so you want to bring your spouse's information, their social security card, all of that stuff, which I did not bring, but now I know I need it. So just have something like this that holds all of your information in one place, so that if it's needed, you can just flip it open and reference it when it's needed. It's always, I've heard so many times from people who've been in the military for a long time, that to have copies and copies and copies of your documents. So your orders, your transcripts, your personal information, anything that is needed for you to process or to be documented, bring it with you, okay? So that's on what to bring. Second, what do I want to talk about? Oh, I want to talk about how everything is unit specific. So if you're a 4N, if you're in the medical field, or if you're in a different career field, everyone's unit is going to be different. And the way that they do things, or the certain regulations they have, it's going to be unit specific. For instance, my unit, which is amazing, I'm part of the 908th in Montgomery, Alabama. My unit, they cover my travel. All right. And so on the way back home, I saw a lot of other UTA reservists getting back home, flying back home, and they told me that their unit doesn't cover their travel, right? So that's very unit specific. So make sure you're asking questions so you know what your unit covers, how they operate, what the morale is like. So for instance, for me, I loved my unit. I loved the experience. Everyone was so kind. We have a morale committee. I'm now a part of it. We do events for our unit and stuff like that, just to build morale. So everyone's feng shui and their unit is going to be different. So you can't really compare or get specific information about your unit from someone else, right? Unless they're in your unit. That's something that I found. It differs from unit to unit, okay? So do keep that in mind. But I also want to cover some things that could probably relate to all of us as reservists. Like, for instance, scheduling. What I thought was really cool, and I had my card here. Oh, it's out. Hold on. So what I thought was really cool, especially if you are commuting, well, not even especially if you're commuting, just to make sure that your logistics are taken care of, you can schedule your stuff in advance as far as lodging goes. And like if you're flying like me, like you can buy your tickets in advance. You can ask your unit for the schedule, the UTA schedule. They should have like the yearly schedule for all of our weekends, and you can schedule your lodging months in advance. So one thing that I learned is like we have this card. They said to keep it on you as if it's like a debit card, because you simply call a number, you book your hotel for the dates that you need it, and you can do that for like 2 UTAs before you even go. An interesting thing that I learned too is that if you're living off base if you're staying in an off-base lodging or hotel for the UTA weekend, your family can come with you. But if you're on base, then your family cannot stay with you. So scheduling is going to be huge, especially if you are working full-time on the civilian side and you have a lot of other things going on, life is happening on the other side. You want to make sure that your lodging is scheduled in advance, that you're taken care of, everything is good to go. And I heard there's penalties that come with not making sure that your lodging is correct or taken care of or scheduled. So make sure you take advantage of this. Don't slip up on it, so that privilege of being able to pick your hotel and do it in advance it's going to be taken away. So I found that very, very helpful and useful for me, because I like to do things in advance. I like to be prepared, and I don't want space to run out or any weird scenarios. Because let me tell you, something so interesting happened to me on my way to UTA. I have family that work for Delta, so I was gonna like finesse and use a buddy pass, right? Well, I didn't know that buddy pass means you're on standby, which means you don't really have a guaranteed seat. And so my first flight, I get there, and the gate agent tells me there's no room on the plane. And I'm like, that's a problem because I have to be on base by tomorrow, right? I have to be accounted for in the morning, right? So stuff like that, you don't want to have stress like that, right? So when you get your schedule, plan your flight if you have to fly, book your hotel so you have a place to lay your head and you can be accounted for the weekend, okay? So scheduling is something that you're going to take advantage of as a airman on the reservist side, which is awesome. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the Air Force portal. So when I got to UTA weekend, it was just a lot of going on, a lot of information being said, and I don't know if they expect us to remember it, but I didn't, right? So the Air Force portal is going to be a huge, huge resource for us. Like our entire life is on the Air Force portal, and it's something that you need a CAC to access, like a CAC reader to access. And so, yeah. So if you have time, anytime at all, and if you have a CAC reader, you can ask your DEP leader or your unit for one. When I was in my DEP flight, I got a CAC reader for free. They just passed them out to us so that we can access the government website, because the Air Force portal is a government website and you need access, right? So you need a CAC reader so you can plug in your CAC and do the whole thing. So if you have time, go on the Air Force portal and just start clicking stuff and start learning and start browsing, because important things are embedded in the portal, such as there's like subsequent trainings that aren't really your AFSC specific, but stuff that we kind of all have to brush up on just as a military member in the Air Force portal. And it's called My Learning, right? That's where you kind of complete those little courses and trainings. Or if you need to update, or if you need to ensure that you're mission ready for, like on the medical side, that your physicals are taken care of and all of that, that entire record is in the Air Force portal, right? It tells you what's due for you, what you need to take care of, when's the last time you had it, all that good stuff. What else is in there? Another thing that's important that's in there is school information, right? I had someone that asked about like the military taking care of our loans on one of our videos, and I got a straight answer, and the answer was no. Okay, so I think there's a way around it to where you can get assisted with it, or your payments aren't, or you can get your payments adjusted. But unless like you were significantly injured, they're not just gonna like disappear. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm sure the Air Force portal will have more information on that, or even your loan provider. Like, I got an email the other day from Navient that was like, military member benefits. And I was like, oh, these look nice. So if you're trying to figure out how your loans are going to be cared for, or what benefits you have as a part of being, what benefits you have as far as being a military member with loans, I would go that route too. But your military transcripts and how to kind of connect your schooling to your like GI Bill, Montgomery, your tuition assistance, all of that's going to be on the Air Force portal too. And you can find that information specifically under, I think it's a website called AFVEC, but through the Air Force portal is how you get there. AFVEC, AFVEC. And I was speaking to one of the like 4As in my unit, and she was saying like, you go through AFVEC to submit to your school, to the system, to get funding, the whole thing. I still don't completely understand, but that's why I'm telling you to go to the Air Force portal, to click around, to learn, make sure you have access to the site so that you know where everything is and you're maximizing all of your resources. You can be as knowledgeable as you can be when you're on the reservist side. One thing I noticed being a reservist, everything is you have to be very self-sufficient. Like, you have to be on top of your stuff. No one's gonna like baby you or hold your hand. So make sure you know what's up, you know what's going on, and you're on top of your stuff. And the Air Force portal is gonna help you do just that, okay? And then, what else? I think that's all. So yeah, those are some of the things that kind of stuck out to me during my UTA weekend. What to bring, how to schedule myself to make sure that my logistics are taken care of. And the Air Force portal is huge. I don't think I really dabbled into it too much before my newcomers briefing, but now that I see that everything is connected to that Air Force portal site, I'm gonna be on there. If you have a Mac computer, there's some finessing that you have to do to make sure that your computer allows like the CAC and the CAC reader. Actually, in the description below, I will paste the link that I used to like add the necessary certificates and all of that, so I can access the government website through a Mac especially. But if you have a regular PC, you shouldn't have a problem. You can just plug in your CAC reader, put your CAC in there, and you should be good to access the portal. But yeah, so that's what I wanted to share. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Like always, if I don't know the answer, I'll find it for you, or I'll ask someone. But I hope this was helpful, like I said, and I'll continue to update you guys as I learn things, as I'm changing and growing on my personal side and on the military side. And like I said, I still have training to complete as far as my flight medic goes. I still have to go to SEER, I still have to go to flight school, I still have to do water survival. So you guys will get all the details on that when that happens too. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, like it. If you have a question, leave a comment and make sure you subscribe as well. But thanks so much for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.